Alrighty, I don't know, I think I'm on video 6. Kind of a summary here. Combination of different things which have transpired, through time, 2016 till now, to current events. It's December 8th, 2022. This is kind of a video log. I'm not really sure of its intention yet. I just know that I would like it to be publicly known, where I stood, what I felt, what I believed in, you know, what made me me. I would like, some folks to understand, perhaps the personal, a more personal side, of myself, and that I would like to start this off, and hopefully not a very long video, is to begin with the original will, and that my father was set in his ways 100%, down to where I received a bloody nose over a debate all about that will, and that conversations took place about that will very frequently, 2017 and 2018. I mean, I shared some very, intimate conversations with my father, conversations on things and issues and such that I had no clue of. My father told me of a burial fund that he had for me. My father told me that, as he has told me through years, that Melanie and I have never gotten along. Nobody was going to keep the house, and that it wasn't to be kept. Period. That it was to be sold. He wanted everybody to move on. The man didn't want to have a public burial. He didn't want people there. You don't understand this. Don't you see? Don't you see what's going on? Or is it that you choose not to? I mean, this was a man that was very specific. Any of the items on the Kennedy Lane property, how cars, lawnmower, toys, whatever, or maybe the case, a boat if there was one, whatever was left on the property when he passed away, he wanted that to go to Melanie. Melanie drove. Melanie maintained a driver's license. Of course, Melanie was, the one most likely to receive any of the vehicles, anything with a driver's license. I didn't have a driver's license. I had born with a sleeping disorder. I lived out my life pretty much on disability. I raised my son for 11 years on $800. I've watched him grow through fails and through successes, trials and errors. I know that he had a 2-acre piece of property which was on Hall Ave. He figured that the purchase value of the property and that it was about $119 a month for taxes. I know I paid the taxes on that property for lots of years. In fact, I paid the taxes on the property for 2017 and 2018, and then 2018 I gave him $600 to pay 5 previous years as well. And as well, my father was on a pretty unusual diet at the time, as he was eating lots of sub sandwiches, and you're looking, $7 ish, $8 ish per sandwich, and that he was eating 3 of these sandwiches every day at a cost of about $24 for the sandwiches. He would also get cookies or a dessert or something that he could have with his sandwich, which would definitely add to that. You're looking, this man's eating $30 or $40 in submarine sandwiches every day. I mean, it's not completely right, but he was eating nutritious stuff. He was getting vegetables. He was getting breads. He was getting meats. And he was having a sensible drink with his food. The house, which was set at Kennedy Lane, it was to be sold and the money split. Now, Melanie, she had a backdoor deal, of course, with the neighbors, as they were letting the road grow in. They were mowing it. It was no longer a road. They were giving me grief every time I went over there to camp, something I've done my entire life. Now, all of a sudden, that's been taken from me. I can't do that. I went over there to post signs, and as soon as I went over there and posted the signs and, was establishing a little bit of authority over there instead of everybody running wild all over, Dad's stuff and destroying all of his stuff, I put my foot down. Hey, man, this has got to stop. Look, man, this man's old. He can't go out there and defend himself. He can't go out there and make people stop ruining his stuff. He can't make it end. I did this. I went and spoke to Uncle Frank. Him and Uncle Frank are the ones who had the property on Hall Ave that was being destroyed by adults. Fat, slob, piggish adults. Rude. Curse and swear at me on my own property. Tell me Melanie gave them all the permission to do it. They didn't have to listen to me. They didn't have to listen to the property owner, my father. They didn't have to listen to anything he had to say. And Frank also had, half of that property over there. It was 2 acres. They didn't have to listen to them that they were dealing with Melanie. Melanie was, telling them what to do. I tried to stop it. I posted the signs. I posted trail cams over there which were destroyed. I went over there to find them in pieces laying on the ground, that they destroyed them. Destroyed property. They went over there and ransacked stuff, destroyed it. They did whatever they wanted to do. Melanie let them do it. Melanie had a deal, of course, with them. They asked me about that property. Oh, sell it to me. Let me have it. No, it's not for sale. No, you're not getting it. This is my father's property. It stays with us. We've lived here a long time. You've been here, 4, 5, 6 years? You got my grandmother's house when she died? Woohoo! What gives you, what makes you king shit here? You or your fat friends down here. The whole neighborhood was up there destroying that property, destroying it, riding around over it. My father used to complain all the time about them 4-wheelers. All the time, man. He didn't want them over there. I stopped it. You don't want them over there. When Melanie was in the house, you know what he referred to Melanie as? The evil bitch, the mean bitch in the other room. That's what he called her. He didn't call her Melanie. He didn't call her his daughter. He called her a mean, ruthless bitch. That's exactly what he called her. Melanie heard him say this to me. Melanie tried to break up business. Melanie tried to have me put out of the house, even had tried to have them even terminated. Yeah, she did. Melanie, it was one attack after another, whether it was a violent attack or whether it was psychological. It was one attack after another. Melanie had a house. Melanie pissed a house away. Not only did she not pay the mortgage or take care of the bills there, she went on to scam a family and children out of money for a house that a bank already owned that she didn't even own. Melanie already had a house. She lost it. It's gone. Okay? It's gone. Melanie's kids couldn't even stand living with Melanie. They kept moving out. They would rather live with their father because they couldn't stand to be in the same house as her for any length of time. Melanie was an evil person. Melanie became very vengeful. Melanie yelled, screamed, cursed. She flipped right out, went right off the wall. You wouldn't believe to what extent she went off to where she became dangerous. Melanie had a house over there with a yard. Melanie never mowed her yard. Melanie never mowed my father's yard. Melanie never went out and picked weeds. Melanie never maintained the property on Hall Ave. Melanie never cut down a tree, removed brush. Melanie never once defended that property at all in her life. Not one time ever in her life. Not one time did she mow it. Not one time did she take care of it. Not one time did she go out there to make sure everything's all right. Do you know that when Melanie first came there, Melanie rode around to food pantries. Melanie was feeding my father pie filling and frosting. Did you know that my father didn't see a doctor? That Melanie wouldn't take him to see a doctor. When I lived there, I had everything set up for him to see a doctor, a home health aide, somebody to help him with his teeth, maybe somebody to help him with the eating and stuff, somebody that wasn't going to be there yelling at him, verbally abusing him, dropping F-bombs at him, torturing him, isolating him, driving his friends away, making it so that Anna Cole, Mabel Condon, myself, Kyle, this was Kyle's only living grandparent. And it was made so that he couldn't even go over there. I made several attempts to visit. I was told to leave, threatened, harassed. Then when I left, I was sent horrible things. And text messages were sent to Samantha Mead telling her that I was here beating up Kyle, that there was a fight in progress. Call the police, send somebody over here. Daryl has lost his mind. He's flipped out, you know. The whole time she sent them messages, my son, he was sleeping in the bedroom. He wasn't even sitting out here in the living room. This came at night. This is what Melanie does. Did y'all know of any of this? You did, because I posted it. But you know what? You didn't care. You didn't give a fuck. Oh, who cares? Daryl, he's a loser. Right? His dad hates him. Yeah, well. That wasn't so. You know. I went to war for my father. My son was having bully issues here in town, and I went to war for him. I watched him and his friends jump down there in that creek bank. I watched all of them learn how to swim. I watched Kyle go from jumping into the creek with a life preserver on to jumping in without the preserver to jumping out of a tree to one day I watched Kyle jump from Coal Hill Bridge. I watched every one of those kids do it. I was there through all their fails. I was there to show them, to help correct them, to teach them. I was also there to share with every one of their successes. When they had gone from jumping simply into a creek and a swimming hole in the woods, so now they were able to jump from a bridge, or dive, or flip, but to perform aerial acrobatics. Things that you see on the Olympics, things that you see in competitions on your TV channels. That these kids were so very happy. They were doing the same thing. I play a video game, I have friends, I live in a cyber world. I help other people. I have videos which are on my YouTube. Videos that have 15,000 views. Likes. Hundreds and hundreds of likes. I've always been about somebody else, never about me. Never ever about me. I'm happy. I'm content. I'm not worried about me. I'd go camping. I would help unload cars. I would set up other people's tents so that they would do less and enjoy more of their time out, you know, so they didn't have to work so hard. They didn't have to do so much. You know, I'm good with setting tents up. I was good with going down and swimming and spend hours and hours down there with them kids swimming. Wander around at waterfalls and parks and explore places and check out really nifty shit. I've showed you guys lots of places that you didn't even know exist. You know? I was out at my father's trying my hardest to keep a road there so that our property wouldn't be landlocked, so that he wouldn't have to lose. He worked so hard his whole life to have. And what is being so swift and quick taken from him. Taken from him. His son taken from him. His grandson taken from him. His home that he worked so hard, gone, being destroyed. Backdoor deals made with neighbors, made with attorneys' offices. manipulations, cold hearted, calculated, thought out, planned out deeds. There's no doubt that Melanie led my grandmother, my mother, my dad to her death. There's no doubt in my mind that she may or may have had something to do with that machine not working, maybe preventing her from getting to it. Maybe she sat there and whispered calm words into my mother's ears, telling her it'll be okay, it'll be okay. Well, my mother begged her not to do it. Then on Christmas Day begged me to take her back to that nursing home that I tried. I went so far as even to try to take somebody's keys to steal a vehicle to take her back. I did. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you that there was an argument in an issue on Christmas Day over it. There was. And that I was stopped from trying to save my mother's life. I was. I was stopped. I was ignored. She's dead. Everything that my father has ever worked for is being destroyed. She destroyed the house that she already had. Melanie is a leech. She hops from boyfriend to boyfriend to fulfill her agenda, and that's it. She moves on. She sucks from them whatever she can, and then she moves on. She's a parasite. She's a leech. There's no doubt that Bob Benson Law Firm and herself helped torture, guide my father's hand, whatever, or that they did. I know that my father, I know that my father would not have done that. That there is no way in hell that he would have done that. Does she have all of you convinced now? Does she have all of you convinced that my father hates me? Does she have all of you convinced that she's erasing me? Does she have all of you convinced that I'm a bad man? Does she? I really hope that folks check out my GoFundMe. I'm hoping to have it up and running by the end of today. Today is December 8th, 2022. I'm hoping, by December 9th that I could have something there. I'm working on chronological order for all of the paperwork. And to make this as much publicly known as possible. Please help me to get back my name. Please help me with the financial assistance that I need. Please don't let my son continue the rest of his life knowing that his father was erased. And from a man whom he truly loved, who loved him, who loved Kyle. He loved spending time with Kyle. Kyle would help him. He would go and get a drink and bring it back with ice. He would sit out in the yard and talk to Kyle for hours while Kyle played with bugs, with insects. He would show my father all kinds of wonders out in that yard. My father would follow him around for hours out there and talk to him. For 2 years, I had to tell my son. My son would ask me, well, what's wrong with Grandpa? Why can't we go see him? Does Grandpa not love me anymore? Grandpa don't love me no more. How do you answer that question? The times that I made there and turned away. I told him I tried. I tried with everything that I had. I'm only one person. I begged people on social networks, on Facebook. I begged my friends, my families. I begged all of you guys. And all I got were negative comments and comments of hate. That's what I got from you. Comments of hate. No different than what Melanie put on that piece of paper I got from all of you. Hate. I'm not the only one that read them comments. My son read them. Friends have read them. People who know me have read them. Don't think that your comments went unnoticed, that when you put them down that, it was a tunnel that came directly to me. It wasn't. Know that my son has feelings and that they have been crushed. Know that I am in mental health and that I see a therapist. Know that the horrible actions done to us by Melanie that came from that house, they affected Kyle. They have affected his school. Kyle went from getting all kinds of medals to getting certificates to getting from that to disciplinary issues, emotional issues. Had I not bought my son anything for Christmas last year, Kyle wouldn't have had anything under the tree. 3 years that I've lived here, no family has come here, ever. Nothing was under that tree for my son. What did he do to any of you? What harm did he cause you? He's polite, would give his own shirt off his back. What did he do you wrong? What horrible thing did Kyle do to wake up Christmas morning and to learn that he had been completely and totally abandoned by everybody? Completely and totally abandoned by everybody. You don't have a sense of worthlessness, emptiness. Do you have any idea what that does to people? Here you got a 12-year-old child, a 49-year-old man. Do you think that it affects either one of us any differently? That we feel any less lost, any less abandoned, any less hated? And that it makes us feel totally and completely like shit. We suffered from it too. We did. Abandonment brings along depression, loss of appetite, will to do anything, who cares? You know, we have been written off. Why would it matter? You know, and then comes an act out or something because of, you know, what created that issue. And now all of a sudden we're bad people. We acted out. You know, you're damned either way that you look at it. That's what it is, you know. Just thrown away like garbage, discarded. That's how you feel, like garbage. We were trash on the side of the road. We're stepped on, kicked around, whatever, or you sit back and you look down upon us. I know that you did. I can tell by your comments, what you said, what you typed. I know very well how it all worked. I mean, I'm not stupid. Kyle's not stupid. You know, why, you know, why think anything different from any of you? Why think anything different? You'll belittle just as well as you abandon, just as well as you moved on. You know, Melanie manipulated you. She ended my mom's, you know, life. She's manipulated a situation and erased me, erased Kyle. With the help of all of you, thank you. You know, I'm gonna end this video. I don't really have the heart, and I'd like to go wipe my eyes and stuff, as I'm not feeling very well right now.